Our senior coach is on the line to join us now. Scott West. Hello, Westy.
Kev, hello, mate.
Going very well, mate. And what a terrific win it was last weekend. A bit of a scratchy start, but gee, when the boys put the afterburners on, it was all over Red Rover.
Yeah, it was a great win, obviously. I've just heard you say about the weekend, and we thought it was really important to respect the weekend and what it meant to the club, and obviously the past players' day as well. So, yeah, look, most games are pretty scratchy early, and I think the game was where I thought it would be at quarter time. I think we were a couple of goals down, kicking against the breeze. So, I think a good contested first half, and also, as you said, we were able to get up and going in the second half and really go on with it.
Certainly, Dean Galea got away to a flyer for Port Melbourne, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He kicked 5 in the first, and obviously that's not ideal for anyone. 20 goal on target for 20, so we made a few changes. And look, Scotty Claston started on him, and obviously we moved him off him and put Ferrito back to him midway through that first quarter. And look, there was a couple of them where Cliston couldn't do much about him, but obviously we wanted to rein him in, and his confidence was a little bit shot, so it was pretty handy to be able to drop a 200-game AFL experienced player back on him.
Westy, how you going, mate?
Good, thanks, mate.
That's the way. Ben Ross really starting to put some good performances together the latter half of the year, and that's definitely what we need moving into the finals period.
Oh, we do, and I think he's been quite good all year. Probably not as dominant as it was last year. Probably been flipped around a little bit from wing to half back inside. He's been tagged because of obviously the Lister medal last year and his form during games. So I thought the weekend he was outstanding, playing both inside outside roles. In the second half, Dylan went to him in a shutdown role, and he still managed to get the footy and maintain his run. So, yeah, I was really pleased with Rossi's performance last week.
Hey, Westy, is that where the game's changing slightly, in that the halfback is becoming, and we've seen it with Adam Kearney at the Bulldogs, so the halfback is becoming a really, where your number one movement comes from?
Well, yeah, there's no doubt that most of your ball movement starts from the defensive part of your ground. I think any flow that you get, obviously you don't want to concede inside 50s at all, but you're going to. But it's your ability to be able to close that down and then start your transition from there that obviously becomes important to have halfbacks that can really either to get through the lines break the lines with the footy, or be able to use the footy off halfback. So, yeah, you're right. I think a lot of players are sending, their tagged midfielders to halfback to really challenge the opposition to see what they do with them, because becoming a real attacking role, and vice versa can really backfire on you if that guy that goes to halfback doesn't defend first, which is something I implore to our halfbacks. Yeah, we want the run, but your first job is to defend. So yeah, look, it is important. I think it's really important to be able to have multiple players to be able to do that, so you can don't become predictable.
Yeah, absolutely. The other really pleasing point, now a lot of people were talking about it at the ground on the weekend, was just how well the development squad played.
Yeah, it was. It was terrific that, we've spoken about having club success, and, really, we really need the development boys to be playing good footy. It sends a really good vibe through the group, when the senior team get here and they run out in the ground and see a good win, and obviously then puts pressure on the senior team selection if those players are playing well. So it's really important that you do have that pressure coming from the development team, and obviously makes the senior guys, really earn their position. So, yeah, look, it was a great win, and, as I said earlier, for the weekend it was, and to finish to the weekend with 2 great wins was really ideal for the football club.
Westy, an even contribution from the forward line over the weekend. All the forwards kicking, plenty of goals, which makes our team look very dangerous.
I think it's a pretty consistent theme over the year. I know Milky's had 2 days out with 11 and 9, but I think for 95% of the year, I think we've had really good contributions from, our mids getting down and kicking goals, and our forwards kicking goals, and even a couple of our halfbacks pushing down and kicking goals. So we've had 8 to 12, 14 goal kickers over a good period of the year. So I think it's a really good strength of ours that we're not relying on, Ben Brown to come and kick 6 and, Mads to kick 5 or Milky to kick 11 every week like he had early in the year. So, yeah, look, it makes it very hard for the opposition to just stop to focus and drop off their player when you've got multiple players leading up or crumbing.
Scotty, can you give us an update on Jake Wilson? He went off the ground. It looked like he copped one in the midriff, or I thought it was the thigh at first, but it looks like he's copped one in the tummy. How is he, and what's the prognosis?
Yeah, look, he's got some abdominal issues. When to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what's actually going on. He's still having tests. So he's been laid up for obviously the whole week, and look, he was in. He sort of felt a bit better after the game, and then as the night went on, got a lot sorer. So he was admitted to the Epworth Hospital just for observation. And look, I think he's still in there at the moment. And obviously, I'm no doctor. I just been told that he's got some abdominal issues, and they're sorting through those now.
Because I think it's now become public knowledge with the AFL put a release out that he has been invited to the state screening for the draft camp as someone of interest as a tall back. They've put him in that lot.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's a great thing for him and a great thing for the footy club, along with obviously Benny Brown and League McDonald going to the national, and obviously with himself, Jakey Wilson, and Darcy Fort, and obviously Scotty Sherlock. It's great for our club, and obviously great for those guys that they've been invited to to show their wares at these things. And I think people got to understand they're going to have three or more clubs nominate them to get drafted.
Yep.
And obviously Benny Brown had 5 or more to get him drafted to get the national. So yeah, look, hopefully he gets on the men, and it's probably we don't want him injured because we're, our key defenders' stocks are running low as it is. But it'll give him a little bit of period of time to get over the injury and obviously get himself right for that combine, so that he can obviously put his best foot forward. And it's happening round 18. We've only got 2 to go, so obviously he's played a lot of footy and they've seen what he can do.
We've got Benny Warren coming up on the show shortly. Scotty, the big thing about last week is you got the 4 points. You jumped over the top of Port Melbourne. The Northern Blues are a side that they gave us a bit of a touch-up earlier in the year.
Yeah, they did. It was only 15 points in the end, I think. But we had our chances in that game and obviously didn't take them. So, look, we haven't beaten them since I've been here. So it's something that's not that you've got to be motivated by that, but obviously we've got to be planning really well. And, it'd be a nice game, just to make sure that we nail our position in that top 8. And obviously fourth only a game behind as well. So, we just need to keep winning and make sure that we look after our own destiny, and that's what we'll be doing this weekend.
Absolutely. Good on you, Westy. Good luck on Sunday at Visy Park.
Thanks, guys.
Scotty West joining us there. Ben Warren does join us now. Hello, Benny.
How you going, guys?
Going very well, thank you, mate. Kevin Hillier and Ben Taylor you're talking to. How have you rated your season, Ben? We're just talking to Scotty West, and he mentioned you've had a couple of big bags, an 11 and a 9, but how have you rated your consistency over the year?
I guess last year I had a pretty consistent season. I was playing, I was obviously on North Melbourne's list, and I played it the whole year, bar one game for Werribee, and I thought I had a much more consistent season last year. It's harder though. You go from a full-time environment to part-time, and you got other pressures like work and uni to deal with. And this year I've just been trying to, well, I guess your priorities change. You don't worry about your own individual performance as much. You just worry about, is the team going all right, and how can I impact or do something different to get other people involved so we go all right. So, it's been individually up and down. Obviously had some high highs, but probably more consistent other years compared to this one.
Mate, after round 1 you must have thought you were going to kick 150.
Oh, I thought it was a chance, yeah.
But Ben, you have played a little bit more up the ground too this year, haven't you?
Yeah. It's part of my own development as well. I've tried to, for a while there, we through the North Melbourne alignment, we had a lot of forwards coming through, and that was the reality of the situation. And we need to help the alignment and help the development of the North Melbourne players as much as we can. And if North want a few of those guys to be developing as forwards, then we had to create a couple of positions for me and Benny Mack, especially when he was back as well. We had to learn just to be able to link in and get a kick up the ground. So we've both had to change our role a little bit and be able to adapt to that this year.
G'day, Benny. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Look, you mentioned Ben McKinley there. It must be terrific to have him back in the side down the forward line next to you. And you've added Ben Brown as well this year, which has just been a terrific addition to the forward line.
Yeah, I think we're really going to see the fruits of it now, especially with Majak going down, having Brownie there as that tall target. I mean, the last 2 years, I guess, me and Benny McKinley have played a lot of footy together and been the mainstays in the forward line as part of the alignment. But we consistently haven't had that big target always there, relying on Madge to always play pretty much. And yeah, it's been great having Benny Brown come through. It's always exciting to see some of the stuff he can do as a big bloke. He can take a great mark and gets around the ground pretty well. So looking forward to seeing what he brings to the finals, and played a lot of footy with Benny Mac, so I love doing it.
There's a bit of wow factor about Benny Brown and about Majak. When you're on the ground and you see him do some of the things they do and some of the marks that, I mean, Benny Brown's had a crack at taking this year, and he's taken a couple of beauties where he stood on bloke's head, and we know Majak's a highlights reel waiting to happen. When you're on the ground and you see him do those things, what's your reaction, Ben?
Well, you just have to stop and watch sometimes. There's a couple. There was a game earlier this year where I was getting a little bit angry at Madge getting around the ground. He was doing something, and then he just picked the ball up and took about 7 bounces and had a shot from 60 and nearly kicked one of the best goals I've ever seen. And I remember running alongside him. I didn't know what to say. Usually you're trying to run alongside him, telling him what to do, or trying to get a hand pass or something like that. But I was just sitting there watching him run down the wing. I was thinking, this guy's an absolute freak. And same with Brownie. Well, I remember being front and centre when he took that big screamer down at Frankston, and I think I jumped as high as him after he took it. I was that excited.
I think we did around the ground too at the time.
Yeah, no, it was a great mark. So I love doing it. I do love watching footy just as much as I love playing it, and you get excited when you see stuff like that. So,
Benny, obviously your decision to stay with Werribee after finishing up with North Melbourne was a pretty easy decision in the end. You've had some great times with the club and really enjoy your time down playing with Werribee. Yeah,
no, I do love the club. I've played a fair few years down there now, and I think last year, especially the way the prelim final sort of ended up last year, I think it was probably one of my most emotional days as a footballer. That prelim, getting so close and not being able to go on with it, and that lost you along. I think that put a bit of fire in the belly to play here another year and hopefully go one better.
Yeah.
So I think still hoping that'll come to fruition this year. But no, I love the club, and there's obviously a lot of great guys that I've had built some friendships with over the years, and you always love playing with your mates, and especially now it's all about a bit of fun for me now, and you take football very seriously, but you still want to be running around with a good bunch of blokes, and it's easy to do it wherever.
And we love watching you go about it too, Ben, so good on you, mate. Thanks for your time today, we appreciate it, and good luck for Sunday and the following weekend.
No worries, boys, thanks for that.